So I was at the gym yesterday, minding my own business, looking for a good YouTube video to put on that would help me escape the reality of a hard 30-minute exercise when I came across this excellent TED Talk. You know, the original TikTok back when people had attention spans. Ooh. Anyways, it's a 15-minute video, but it did take me the full 30 minutes on a Stairmaster to get through it because I was attempting to take notes too, which is a tricky balance and dangerous, but I pulled it off. I found this TED Talk fascinating and easy to relate to my obsession and channel here, which is all things money, personal finance, financial literacy, the FIRE movement, etc. It got me thinking about how I talk and teach money, how we all think about money, how we learn about money, why we succeed or fail with money, why very few master it, and most people struggle with it. Now, I used to blame financial illiteracy on the fact that we don't teach money in school, and maybe though I'm thinking that's not it anymore, perhaps it's that they don't teach us how to think about money in school, or teach us how to think in general. Yeah, we're gonna get pretty deep today. Let's discuss. And let's stick with the classroom. How do schools and most teachers teach? In the simplest form, they teach us what to think, not how to think about the subject material. We learn logic and facts, but it's rare we cross into critical thinking and genuine engagement. Jesse Richardson's main point in his TED Talk is that we should teach to nurture curiosity because it's curiosity that leads to a connection to the material and ultimately critical thinking. We should teach thinking with one's own mind, not teaching for memorizing, but to get to internalizing. Internalizing is what keeps curiosity alive and helps people become more adaptive. So again, get students engaged, get them to the level of internalizing and critical thinking, and this nurtures creativity and deep learning. But instead, we often teach what to think only, facts and state standards so students can pass tests. And I would know, I was a teacher, test scores were everything. When you and I were in school, most of us learned so that we could pass tests and get good grades. Learning was a means to that end. To get us there, teachers used stick or carrot methods, right? So stick method, do this or else X bad thing happens. You'll flunk, you'll fail and have to repeat. Parents might ground you. Or carrot method, we encourage memorizing facts with reward and encouragement. Praise, gold star stickers, high letter grades that unlock doors and future opportunities. We may have developed deep curiosity and creativity around a subject or two, but rarely several. It's why when you were asked, what's your favorite subject, you probably only had one that immediately came to mind. Jesse highlighted that creativity has always defined us as a species. Creativity is the basis for political theory, innovation, scientific breakthroughs, technology, and more. Creativity brings us together. And to clarify, we're not talking creativity as in art. It's more design, as in designing solutions to common problems. Humans have always had to adapt and innovate to solve problems. We have free will, self-awareness, and a desire to improve our lives. We ask difficult questions and seek out difficult answers. We do it all through critical thinking and creativity, which is a very powerful combination that adds up to more than the sum of its parts. It's basically superhero stuff, you guys, with our critical thinking and creativity powers combined. Now, learning how to think leads to asking the right questions and critiquing reasonably. It's making hypotheses and testing through research and firsthand experience. It's observing, questioning, researching, and validating. It ultimately helps us develop humility and vulnerability, knowing that we're each flawed and that we all have biases. And people that learn how to think are often the ones that develop awareness, solve problems, and make the world a better place. It leads to innovation in unstoppable individuals that can even see through BS and withstand lies and manipulation. But perhaps we've lost sight of teaching how to think in favor of what to think via ultra dry textbooks and an emphasis on state testing. Right, so how do we teach how to think? Well, speaking of BS, lies, and manipulation, let's detour here for a moment and talk about marketing. So Jesse said he was a marketer, and I'm actually a marketer by day as well, so I can relate to that. He admitted that marketers are essentially evil geniuses, and I don't disagree. Marketing is manipulation at its core. It's convincing people that your product or service is necessary to solve their problem. You might even invent problems that people didn't realize they have. Rude, I know. Marketers rely on connection and simplicity to sell. It's only logical you buy X and do it now to solve Y because time is running out in Z minutes. Marketers are creative. They're able to distill a product's best features and points of differentiation in compelling and convincing 5-word headlines for billboards and digital ads. Jesse states, though, that marketers and entertainers actually make the best teachers because good marketers know how to connect and keep things simple. The best marketers and teachers know how to make you care. They hook you. They bring concepts to life. The best teachers turn a dry textbook into a memorable lesson. And I mentioned I used to be a teacher. I was a high school teacher for 4 years, and I actually found teaching quite instinctual. And maybe that's why it was a natural fit to move into marketing, and now I guess entertaining, if you call my videos that. I remember interviewing for my first marketing job, and the interviewer looked at me and he asked, "You don't have any marketing experience. Why should I hire you?" I said, and I'm very proud of this looking back, "I do have experience. Teaching is marketing when you really think about it. I'm constantly selling myself every day. Once students know, like, and trust me, I can sell them ideas and lessons. I get them to care. I get them invested. Then I get them to learn with creative lesson planning." And yeah, I got that job. As a teacher, I always reminded myself of this saying. I think it's, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And honestly, I hope I bring that now here on YouTube. But looking back, I think I was a pretty good teacher. And it's because I cared a lot. I spent a lot of time connecting the material, or trying to students' lives. I hope I was able to make students curious and encourage questions, critical thinking, and creativity, to put concepts from one subject together with another and let them struggle and grapple with bigger ideas with one another, aka teaching how to think. Okay, let's talk money and learning how to think about money for financial independence using these thoughts. Now, first of all, they are starting to teach personal finance in schools in about half of the US, and that's great. That's definitely a start, but it does make me wonder if we're doing it right. I don't personally know what it looks like in practice in classrooms right now, but I can tell you what I hope it looks like. I hope it's far more than math, compound interest, saving in a 401k for retirement, and improving credit scores. More than net worths and interest rates. More than credit card debt, student loans, and how mortgages work. That's definitely good stuff and great, but even my eyes just glossed over listening to myself say all that. Even the best song and dance won't get students to care about tax brackets, I can promise you. Now, here's what I hope it does look like. I hope it's teaching the psychology of money, the mindset stuff that I often talk about. I hope it's how and why you should use money to leverage time or buy back your time. I hope it's considering the impact that money has on mental health. I hope it's inequalities in the world, the haves and the have-nots, pay gaps, why this occurs, and how we can fix it. I hope it's the future of money, even cryptocurrency and NFTs. I'm hardly an investor in those, but it is really fascinating stuff. I hope it's studying why athletes that make millions of dollars a year eventually go dead broke. I hope it's teaching passive income, side hustles, and diversifying your income. I especially hope it's entrepreneurship. I hope it's impact investing. I hope it's analyzing how marketing manipulates us and makes us broke. And I hope it encourages thinking differently than the status quo, and teaching even about the FIRE movement. That's financial independence and early retirement. That's what I usually talk about here on the channel. So subscribe if you want more of that. This all had me, though, reflecting on when I became obsessed with learning money almost exactly 4 years ago. It started because it had to. I was deeply in debt. I turned to entertaining books, podcasts, and YouTube videos. I learned the nuts and bolts, but then I got ultra curious. I started asking questions. I found myself deeply engaged with the subject, like daily. I'd think taxes are boring and who cares? But wait a minute, there's a way to legally pay fewer taxes? Tell me more. I'm sorry, what? Early retirement is a thing? How? And by the way, learning about compound interest was downright mind-blowing. I became fully aware of what was possible, and that was encouraging me. But I also started thinking about my why of it all, how much is enough, and how I could pay this knowledge forward. I was learning how to think about money. I was combining deep critical thinking and creativity. For a year, I obsessed over getting out of debt. Then I wrote a book about my year turning my financial life around called The Money Resolution. And it was how I went from nearly 6 figures negative net worth back to net worth 0 in a year. And in year 2 of my obsession, I took creative action, which got me from net worth 0 to positive 6 figures. And I wrote another book called Money You Can Hack It. And the word creative is actually right there in the subtitle. And I actually snuck in the word fun too. In the last year and a half, my money journey led me to the FIRE movement, and I'm actually working on my 3rd book now, Save Half, Retire Fast. It's about increasing your savings rate to 50% as a goal, because if you do, you can retire in as little as 17 years. Saving half definitely requires critical thinking and creativity. This all clearly has me reflecting on how I learned how to think about money and how I can help others do the same. I used to teach nuts and bolts here on the channel, and I still do sometimes, but I don't feel as strongly about trying to help people get book smart about all things personal finance. I care more about getting people to care and see what's possible, because it starts with developing curiosity, then critical thinking, then creativity. And this leads to awareness and eventually self-empowerment. Thinking about money is asking the right questions, making a hypothesis, and testing theories. I myself do this, and I have failed at picking individual stocks and trying out many side hustles. That's part of the process. It's connecting dots as you learn and gain experience. It's keeping it simple. It's identifying your top money problems and personal weaknesses, which takes humility, and looking for innovative ways to solve or overcome them. Ultimately, there are no shortcuts to growing your wealth or achieving financial independence. Teaching personal finance in schools is a start, but learning how to get good with money starts from within. It starts with learning how to think and getting to a level of genuine engagement via critical thinking and creativity. I now think that's the secret combination to achieving financial independence. Now, I am guilty of stick and carrot methods here. I've used stick methods like learn money or get left behind, and carrot methods like learn money and retire early, earn your time back. But I just want to say this, care. It all comes back to caring about your financial well-being. You won't care to learn until you learn to care. You are in control of your success, and you're more capable than you realize. And before I end, I do want to give a shout out to all teachers out there. None of this at all was meant to be a knock on teachers by any means. I love them and appreciate them more than you can know. We need more of the good ones in the classroom. And honestly, we need to pay them more to keep them there, period. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll be one of them again. I'd honestly like to know, by the way, about your favorite teacher growing up. Please do share in the comments if you're willing, and tell me what made him or her your favorite. Here's my guess. They were relatable, they kept the subject simple, and encouraged creativity and critical thinking. Just a hunch, a hypothesis, if you will. I'll link to this TED Talk, by the way, below. Definitely watch that next if you want to think critically about learning how to think some more. My name is Frankie. Subscribe to be in the know about my next video, or one of them. You don't want to miss that. It is my 2nd personal finance spoken word poem / rap. And yeah, I did make a first finance spoken word poem earlier this year, if you didn't know. Why? Because the best teachers are entertainers, remember? Like this video if you liked it, and agree we should teach how to think critically and teach how to think about money. I hope to see you, friends, in a few days on the next one. Thanks. Go ahead, click on the wrap or the new one if this is the future.